Good afternoon, Bethel family. Well, it is Thursday afternoon, the time that I usually post my recap of last week's remarks. Last week we learned Parshat Noach together, the story of Noah and the flood, and I delivered remarks called Faith to Face the World. And I think they are at least as appropriate now as they were before we heard the election results on Tuesday night. When we read the story of Noah, we talk an awful lot about righteousness. We say Noah is the most righteous man of his generation. We debate what that might mean. But I found myself this year when reading Parshat Noah wondering what exactly is the quality that makes Noah so special, so unique, that he's one of only a few people whose stories are told before we get to Abraham in the Torah. Is it just that he's righteous? Maybe, but we're going to talk about a lot of righteous people over the course of the Torah. So I'm not sure that's it, or at least it's not only that. And I think we can learn a lot about what makes Noah so special, not from the beginning of his journey on the ark, but the end of it. You see, in the story of human history up until the point of Noah, no human being had ever experienced trauma like what Noah and his family go through in this story. Right? There just hasn't been that much humanity. So of course, by the time the trip on the ark ends, Noah is traumatized. In fact, the Midrash tells us that when the ark finally comes to rest on Mount Ararat, Noah refuses to get off it. Right? God says, dry land, it's time, go rebuild humanity, rebuild the earth. And Noah says, no. What, I should leave the ark and have children only to be cursed with the potential for another flood? And then, only in response to Noah's hesitance, does God make his famous promise and place a rainbow in the sky. Right? Only then does God say, I will maintain my covenant with you, and never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of a flood, and never again shall there be a flood to destroy all the earth. And Noah looks up and sees the rainbow and knows, as we know to this day, that the covenant is still in force. And Noah's able to get off the ark at that point. He's able to face the world despite his horrible trauma, despite his what we would now call today PTSD. And that brings me to that most amazing quality of Noah. What made Noah so special? It wasn't just that he was righteous, it's that he was brave. Noah was a courageous person. Just think of it, when Noah starts to build the ark, what must have people said about him? Even to undertake, forgetting what the other people said about him, even to undertake such a seemingly ludicrous task, to build this gigantic ship, and then to put all the animals in there, 2 by 2 and 7 by 7 for the kosher animals. What kind of bravery would it take to dedicate his life to such a seemingly pointless purpose, to something that can never be accomplished? And Noah shows even more courage at the end of the story, when he is able to come out of the ark and face the world again, a world that is now upside down, a world that doesn't seem to make any sense to him. But he does, and he moves forward. And I think that's really the message of last week's Torah portion. We ask why include this story in the Jewish Torah before Jews even exist, the story of Noah and his flood. It's not to teach us to be righteous. To teach us to be righteous, we have Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. We have Moses and Aaron and Miriam. We have the entire Torah to teach us to be righteous. But what Noah teaches us is to be brave. So where does Noah get his bravery? How does Noah know how to face the world? To what well does he dig deep into and draw forth the water that will bring him into the now desert that is earth? If we can figure that out, maybe we can find that same courage for ourselves in these upside down feeling times, in these difficult and maybe even dark seeming times. And where does Noah get that courage? From where does he draw his strength and bravery? It's his faith. Only when Noah recognizes his faith in God can he leave his sea-worn vessel and again face the world. Only when God places that rainbow in the sky to remind him that I will always be with you. And as long as you have faith in me, I will keep my faith with you to sustain you and to give you a world that can always be made better. A world that, with your help, can be turned back from a desert into a lush garden of goodness. As I listen to the conversation this week, remember I originally gave this talk last week before we even had an election, but I listened to a conversation full of fear and of suffering, people acting from their vulnerability. Maybe what I'm really hearing, maybe what we're all really hearing, is about a crisis of faith. I hear people saying that no matter what we do, we have no ability to make our communities and our country better. That we may as well stay home and hide under the covers. We're saying that we don't understand our fellow Americans. That there is too much dividing us for us ever to be that united people of the United States of America. Believe me, I understand that feeling. I understand the frustration. But this moment does not call for us to hide under our covers the way Noah wanted to hide in the ark. It calls for us to have our own Noah moment, for us all to have faith not only in God, but also in each other, and also in this great United States of America, which we all have the privilege to live. Only when we capture that faith, when we capture Noah's bravery, born of his relationship with God, can we know how to move forward in this world? Can we understand our purpose, as we'll read in this week's Parshat, Abraham's purpose of making it better by being a blessing, by bringing universal morality to the world, by working to make the world better, by speaking truth to power, even as Abraham demonstrates when that power is God, as he does in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Sometimes just facing the world is an act of bravery. Sometimes, maybe now, it's easy to lose faith. But today, this week, as we move forward, it is an act of faith that is called for. Faith in this country, faith in this system of government, faith in each other, and maybe most of all, faith in ourselves, that we can make a difference by reaching out to those who seem to be opposed to us, whose values seem to be different, to understand their fear and their vulnerability, and to make sure that they understand ours. And when it is called for, to fight for what we know is right, even if that means putting ourselves in the line of great power, putting ourselves up against a strength that seems far greater than our own. But only when we do that, only when we have that faith in ourselves and each other, can we start the important work of healing that is required right now. Can we start to make this country be what is meant to be, what has made it so special for so long. Only then will we be able to heal our communities, and only then will we truly be fulfilling our purpose as the Jewish people living in the United States of America, that we will be the blessing that is so needed right now for all of our fellow Americans and all of the world. I pray that we can all act with such bravery. As we move into Shabbat, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom, a Shabbat full of peace, but also a Shabbat full of purpose.